What if there was an easy way to generate more revenue with each and every sale of your most popular digital products and programs? Hi there, I'm Paige from theimpactcopywriter.com. In this video, we're going to talk about a cool little conversion tactic called an order bump. From the customer's perspective, an order bump is a complimentary offer presented to the buyer at the bottom of a checkout page. Here's the logic. When an almost new customer is on the checkout page finalizing their order, this person is more likely to say yes in that moment to a second complimentary item offered at a similar or cheaper price point. For the seller, that's you. It's a strategy that helps you bump up the value of that transaction, hence the name order bump. Odds are you've seen order bumps in action as a customer. For example, I've purchased a screen protector as an order bump for a shiny new smartphone. I regrettably did not select Done For You installation, the order bump offered for the adjustable standing desk I work from every single day. And one of my favorite coffee mugs was in fact an order bump for an online training I joined a few years ago. Though this sweet little optimization opportunity may be an easy and exciting way to potentially increase your average order value, you should know order bumps do come with some unique selling challenges. Because this secondary offer is housed at the bottom of a checkout page, you're left with little room to convince your soon-to-be customer to add this extra item to their order. When it comes to order bumps, a simple and clear offer is better than a complex or complicated one. The value needs to be so incredibly clear that little persuasion is needed. That's why you see order bumps like design templates, email templates, recipes, workouts, journaling prompts, workshops on super specific topics like how to price your digital course, Done For You services like installation, setup, or migration, maintenance plans or warranties, one-on-one calls, branded swag like my favorite coffee mug, and even free or discounted trials to subscription-based products or programs. That said, having an easy-to-add-to-cart offer type, like those just mentioned, is only the first step. You'll want to also keep a few other success criteria in mind when testing out new order bumps for your funnels. First, there should be an obvious connection between the core offer and the order bump, just like with the screen protector and the smartphone, or the Done For You installation and the adjustable desk. Next, if necessary, use a clear descriptor as your order bump title instead of a branded product name to better communicate the value. In this example, the branded title, Personal Mastery Academy, I'd argue could be too vague to stand on its own, whereas the offer in this next example, Traditional Cooking School Private Class Library, though a mouthful, is more descriptive and clear. Price matters too. Data suggests that buyers respond more favorably to an order bump with a price that's equal to or cheaper than the core offer. Like in this example for workshop wins. The core workshop offer is priced at $37, and the order bump, an 8-part email sequence template, is priced at $19. Or as you see in this example from Copy Hackers, the core offer, 10x sales pages, is priced at $497, and the order bump, complimentary trainings, range from $97 to $297. Lastly, if what you're offering as your order bump is sold elsewhere, consider using an only on this page discount to give customers a good reason to buy now rather than later. In this example, the order bump deliberately states that only on this page the buyer gets what appears to be a $200 discount. Now, let's look at the copywriting elements of an order bump. You're looking at the first iteration of an order bump that I recently proposed to a client for one of their funnels. So let's talk through the core elements of this order bump and kind of the decision-making process behind why it's written the way it's written. Starting, of course, with the offer. Keep in mind that you want to make sure you're choosing your offer based on insights you have from your research. So in this case, we knew, based on our research, that a good portion of the audience was interested in Celtic shamanism. Hence, the choice of using a Celtic workshop bundle to promote as an order bump in this funnel. All right, so let's start with the first element you see here, which is an image. Now, your order bump software, whatever checkout software you're using, may or may not support imagery, but if it does, you want to make sure you're using an image that conveys the product that they're going to be getting. So for this specific example, because we're using an 8 workshop bundle, we want to make sure to use an image, specifically a bundle mockup of the 8 workshops that are going to be included. Our next element is either the toggle or the check mark, depending on your software, right? And it reads, yes, give me 8 Celtic workshops at £20 off. There are a few persuasion aspects at play here. So typically the kind of placeholder copy for an order bump would say something like, yes, add this to my cart. One thing we want to do is to, if possible, stay away from friction words, things like payment or invoice or add to cart. So in this example, I've used, instead of yes, add to cart, I've said, yes, give me, right? So it's the same thing is happening, but phrasing it in the form of give me this thing, then we have automatically reduced the friction in that copy. Now we're being very clear on what they get, which is 8 Celtic workshops. We're not being clever. We're not using some fancy brand name. And then we've made sure to mention that they're going to be saving money and how much they're going to be saving. The next element is the title of your order bump. And remember from before, I said be clear. So if at all possible, describe what you're giving them in favor of using a fancy brand name that may be vague. In this example, we didn't have a brand name for the bundle. The Celtic workshops themselves individually had names, but for the bundle, it was just the Celtic bundle. I opted to be even more descriptive by just saying you're going to get 8 Celtic workshops. Very clear on what you're going to get. And then because I had some room, I wanted to make sure that I connected those workshops to what they're really trying to achieve by learning about this topic, which is to reconnect you with your roots. So again, this is based on voice of customer data. I went back through all the data snippets I had related to the desire to learn about Celtic shamanism. And by far, the strongest reason for them wanting to learn about this topic was to have some connection to their ancestors or to their heritage or to their roots. So this benefit was intentionally chosen based on research. The next element you're going to have is the price. So here we want to make sure we state what the normal price is, because this is something that is regularly offered and regularly for sale in their shop. And we might want to make sure that they understand visually that this is the regular price and this is not what they're paying right now, because right now they're going to be paying a special one-time offer sort of price. And then if possible, we want to highlight how much they're actually saving. Don't leave it to the customer to do the math, right? Just go ahead and tell them what the savings are. And I've opted even to put this font here, the savings, specifically in a separate font color, if at all possible, just to draw the eye to that. Now, the final element you're going to have in your order bump is your description copy. And of course, you've got to keep this really tight, given the character limit that you have in whatever software you're using for your checkouts and your order bumps. So you have to be really intentional about what you choose to say. So make sure you're pulling in the value proposition for whatever's on offer or the core benefit that you know customers are looking for. In our case, they were looking to honor their ancestors and this ancient land, right? That was a big pull for people who were interested in Celtic shamanism. I also decided to pull in a bit of proof here with seer and Celticist Sam McLaren. And I've done this because it was important for the customers to see that this wasn't taught by just anyone. This was taught by a reputable person who had a background and expertise in this specific topic. Then later on, I make sure to mention specific types of takeaways that they're going to get from the workshop. Now, I couldn't include everything. This is an 8-workshop bundle. We had a limited amount of space. I had to make sure to pull in the takeaways that were most important or most relevant for the customer based on what I knew having done the research. So they're going to get lessons on Celtic fundamentals, ceremonies, which was an important thing based on research, ceremonies for celebrating the Celtic calendar, and the Celtic wheel of wisdom. And then we're wrapping up here in this paragraph with kind of the so what. So you can add elements of the special branch of shamanism to your everyday practice. Now, in the second paragraph, I wanted to make sure they understood that the content on offer here, the 8 Celtic workshops, were not something that would be included in the membership that they were actually signing up for. So this was an order bump for a membership that already had a lot of content in it, right? So I hypothesized that one of the questions they would have, something that would be kind of a hesitation or a concern, would be, well, do I already get access to this being a member in this program? And the answer is no, but we wanted them to understand that they want this. This is not included in their membership, but for a limited time on this page, they can add this to their order and save money while doing it. So in our next sentence, we do mention that only on this page, you will get all these workshops at the special price. And that was done intentionally because this offer is for sale elsewhere. And then we finish up with one-time payment, instant access, and yours to own for life. Now, these were some criteria that I felt necessary to mention because they were signing up. The core offer was a membership, which meant that they would pay on a recurring basis, right? And that they would get instant access to some things, but part of this membership was a lot of live events. So it was things they had to wait for, things they had to show up to live. And as with a membership, you only get access to the contents of the membership while you're an active subscriber or an active member. So if you stop paying for the membership, then you lose access to everything that you had as a member to that program. So that's one of the reasons that I wanted to make sure they understood the differences. So they're signing up for a membership, but if they added this specific order bump to their cart, they're only paying once because they're buying the workshops, not subscribing to them. They would get instant access to all the materials. They didn't have to wait for anything. And that they would own access to these workshops, forever. It not being a membership and being just an outright purchase. So that's a brief overview of the core elements of an order bump and sort of the decision-making process of how you actually put the copy together in a way that resonates with what you know about your customers. Thanks for watching. And when you need a skilled and reliable conversion copywriter to help you hit growth goals, start a project conversation with me over at theimpactcopywriter.com.